major moment in the Biden corruption investigation. Joe's bagman, his own son Hunter, will sit down for a transcribed interview, House oversight interview. This is going to happen tomorrow. You can expect plenty of lies, plenty of obfuscation. Hunter Biden defied House Republicans' subpoena to testify privately back in December, instead claiming that he only wanted to testify publicly because he's so transparent. In truth, Hunter would have to do this anyways. Testify publicly. He was simply trying to avoid a very grueling, much more effective private hearing where top-notch lawyers could pick him apart. That was all that was back in December. You remember that. Tomorrow, Hunter will have a harder time hiding the truth or hiding from the truth. Hunter will likely be faced with evidence like this text message that he sent to a Chinese communist. I'm sitting here with my father. I'd like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. Goes on to threaten this man, Zhao, saying, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. And then 9 days later, $5 million is wired to an entity that's jointly controlled by Hunter Biden. Same day, $400,000 gets moved to Hunter's personal account. A few weeks later, Joe Biden gets 10% of $400,000. A check for $40,000. So how can Republicans take this evidence and corner Hunter Biden tomorrow? That's the big question. Congressman Byron Donalds is on the House Oversight Committee. He and his team have been prepping for this moment for months. And sir, it's very good to have you back on the show. Tell us, what's the methodology to this? How do you got this big moment? How do you make the most out of it?
Well, I won't get too much into what the attorneys are going to do tomorrow, but what I will say is that there is massive amounts of evidence that Hunter Biden was the tip of the spear of the Biden crime family, their influence peddling scheme. So the first part is you have to get him on the record of his business dealings, in my view. Second part is bringing the actual financial documents that we've been able to subpoena and have him actually explain in detail what's going on around these financial transactions. The third piece is going to be the trickiest, because obviously what the Bidens did when they set up this entire scheme is that they wanted to give Joe Biden plausible deniability. That's why you have 20 shell companies. That is why you have money being moved from company to company, family members getting a piece, Joe Biden getting a piece a couple weeks later. All these things are in tow. One key question I have is that are there any loan documents between Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, between Hunter Biden and Jim Biden, between Jim Biden and Joe Biden? Because they like to talk about, oh, these are loan repayments, but where are the documents? Is it just, a handshake and a wink and a nod? If that's the case, okay, but we need that stuff on the record so we can finish our investigation.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've heard from, experts, people that look at this stuff for a living, and they say the most obvious is they always turn it into a loan repayment of some kind. That's a very obvious method of trying to get around what you're trying to avoid prosecution for whatever you're into, is you try to turn it into a loan document. Curious how Hunter is going to respond to text messages like this one to his daughter back in 2019, reading in part, I hope you all can do what I did and pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years, but don't worry, unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half my salary. Are text messages like that going to be brought up during this deposition?
I totally believe that they are. He's going to have to give an answer that's going to actually make any sense in reality. Look, the truth is that Hunter Biden would have never had any ability to make any of this money if his daddy, Joe Biden, wasn't allowing him to violate the Foreign Agents Registration Act. That's what was allowed here. Hunter Biden was allowed to be on Air Force Two multiple times, going to all these countries within Joe Biden's portfolio when he was vice president. He was allowed to put his dad on the phone with business associates. We have testimony from many people involved in this scheme that Joe Biden would get on the phone with business associates. And again, look, people saying, oh, well, Joe Biden, did he orchestrate this or did he orchestrate that? That is the stuff that we still have to go through and find out. But the fact that he was allowed to be a part of the scheme and he did take money, let me stress, he did take money that came from this scheme, demonstrates that there was bribery that was going on and it was public corruption that was going on.